is up, everybody? Welcome back to the transparency. This is part 2. Again, Charlie Kirk and Kash Patel, Prove Me Wrong, part 2. Come on in.
To begin, whether Americans are safer today than they were 9 months ago, but you cited dramatic increases in criminal arrests since you've taken office, a dramatic decrease in crime that's resulted. Who would have thought that taking criminals off the streets would reduce the crime rate? But somehow we have stumbled upon that new truth. But it begs the question, what was the FBI doing during the 4 years of the Biden administration to see that dramatic an increase in work under your tenure?
Simple answer is I'm letting good cops be cops. We're working with our state and local law enforcement. We're energizing our partnerships.
I just have to say this. Look at that resting bitch face on that man to the right. I have never seen something like that in my entire life. Welcome.
Bringing on more task force officers. When you have more cops in the streets, when you're using ground-based intelligence, when you're not weaponizing law enforcement and focusing on DC and focusing on the rest of America, this is what happens. It is not a significant mind shift in terms of how we maneuver the FBI. They've wanted to do this work since they signed up. We're just letting them.
And we've seen many prominent Democrats oppose your efforts to restore law and order for the streets of our nation's capital. I mean, all of us here have seen a dramatic change for the better here in Washington, D.C. Why are so many Democrats attacking you for that?
Sir, Democrats have been attacking me for a decade, as is the fake news media. They didn't like the fact that I exposed the Russiagate host and the largest weaponization of the FBI and DOJ in U.S. history. We proved it to be true with congressional oversight. I'm wed to that congressional oversight and will continue to do that work.
Christopher Wray repeatedly warned this committee that the Biden open borders policy had produced a significant increase in terrorist threats that he said kept him up at night. A particular concern, he said, was the 2 million gotaways that entered the country during the Biden administration. That's an average of 41,000 every month. What are the monthly gotaway numbers today?
Sir, I'll have to get back to you on the exact gotaway numbers, but identifying that there are gotaways is step one. Going and manhunting them is step two, and that's what we're committing our resources to do.
That's my next question, is what progress has administration made in apprehending and removing terrorist threats?
There we go.
I think you're talking about
Here's that one.
Known or suspected terrorists, and we've encountered almost.
All right, let me go ahead and pin this. Make this happen again. There we go. Copy. Welcome. All right, so prove me wrong that the text messages are just fucking what they are. I don't believe that they are. I don't know. Murky Piglet says, hello, Lana, but JJ reporting for duty. God love it. No timestamps. These are over the course of 2 days. We're missing messages in between. Where did Tyler Robinson spend the night on September 10th? I don't know why nobody's talking about that. And yeah. Hey, let me just tell you to delete all of this. And then after I do that, let me continue to talk about all of this. Absolutely wild. Just released from Turning Point, by the way. It is the fightforcharlie.com. Okay. And building a legacy, remembering Charlie Kirk, September 21st, 2025 at State Farm Stadium, Glendale, Arizona. Fightforcharlie.com. And building a legacy, remembering Charlie Kirk. Speaking will be Erica Kirk, President Donald Trump, and Vice President J.D. Vance. White House Chief of Staff will be there. Secretary Marco Rubio, Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary Pete Hegseth, Tucker Carlson, Stephen Miller. More names to be announced. This was just an hour ago. September 21st, 2025, Glendale, Arizona, fightforcharlie.com. and it's building a legacy and remembering a legacy. So that was just announced about an hour ago.
0 at the southern border since the southern border has been sealed. But the problem that we are running into is our northern border. It's largely expansive. The enemy has adapted, and we need more focus on the northern border to stop known or suspected terrorists from coming in from places like China, Russia, the Middle East, Africa, Afghanistan.
And what can you tell us about the remaining threat posed by potential terrorist cells here in the United States?
The terrorist threat that continues to be posed by international terrorists here in the United States is one of my highest priorities. We are working through our intelligence community partners to identify those individuals, and we've taken down numerous individuals and numerous rings across this country to neutralize that terrorist threat, including places like New York City, Los Angeles, and I believe Dallas, Texas most recently.
How extensively did criminal cartels like Sinaloa, Jalisco, New Generation, MS-13, Trinidad, and others infiltrate our country during the Biden administration?
By the tens of thousands.
Well, and what progress have you been making in combating their presence?
I think the DHS is best to speak to that, but I think I can't remember the numbers of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of individuals they found that came in illegally, and the tens of thousands
100
of associations of criminal networks.
It's all over the place. It is.
Effort is being opposed every step of the way by Democratic leaders in our cities, some of our states, and right here in the Congress. Isn't that true?
Well, we're just working where we can in every single city we can, and I welcome the opportunity to partner with Republicans or Democrats on fighting violent crime like we're doing.
Mr. Biggs asked about Arctic frost. What else can you tell us about that and what we need to do to assure that it never happens again?
Continue the congressional oversight work that you're doing on Arctic frost. Let me provide you with more documentation on Arctic frost, and also call in witnesses from the paperwork that we have given you. You have that right, and the American public deserves to hear what those people have to say. As for my ongoing investigation, there's not much I can say.
What?
Okay, so let's see here.
Role did the FBI play in suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story during the 2024 election?
Off the top of my memory, sir, I believe the FBI was in possession of verified information from that laptop, and it was improperly publicized that they did not have information and masked it as Russian disinformation. We now know that was categorically false. I don't know why the FBI did that, when they did that, but we've released all the materials related to that.
Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from New York is recognized. Mr. Golden.
Mr. Patel, does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
There we go.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
It's not a complicated question. Does Donald Trump appear anywhere in the Epstein files?
I didn't say it was a complicated question. I just didn't hear you, so my apologies. We have released where President Trump's name's in the Epstein files and everybody else, and all credible information that we are legally allowed to release has been released.
All right, so let's go through that.
Okay.
You're referring to court orders that prohibit you from releasing grand jury testimony under Rule 6E. Is that what you're referring to when you say as the law allows?
That's a piece of it.
Really? What other evidence do those three court orders you cited prohibit from being released?
Information that was collected pursuant to those search warrants that were limited
Wrong.
in fashion.
Wrong. That's
Okay.
not what the court order says, and that's not under 6E.
And you're talking, and I said that's 6E, and I said there was others, and I'm answering that. There are sealed court order documents. There are protective orders.
They are unsealed.
What's up, Lily Shaw?
as part
How
of
are ya?
Discovery given to Ghislaine Maxwell. They are no longer sealed.
That's just not true. We can argue about it all you want.
Okay,
but we
well,
should go
you
to court.
agree that there are, so your testimony here is that the reason why you are not releasing all of the videos that you have acknowledged, there are so many, and that the FBI spent thousands of hours of reviewing, the photographs, the photographs that you have. You're saying that you're not releasing those because there's a court order requiring them to be sealed? Is that your testimony?
Never said that about the videos. On the totality of the videos, of the thousands of images that were seized pursuant to the search warrants executed at the time, the overwhelming majority of that video is pornographic material that was downloaded from the internet and child sexual abuse material. We will never release that.
Well, as you should not release the victims. But if there are videos that relate to others who Epstein trafficked to, such as maybe Prince Andrew, or photographs, that you have total control to release.
Yes, and if it
And
exists,
so why haven't you released it?
why are you supposing that that is a fact when in fact it is false? Are you saying that
You're saying that none of the videos relate to anything relevant to the Jeffrey Epstein trafficking?
Thank you,
Every
Lily.
single video that we have collected pursuant to the prior search warrants has been examined for the last 10 years. And every single video has been utilized for whatever prosecutions were able to be legally brought.
I'm not asking about prosecutions. I'm asking about why you aren't releasing the full Epstein files, including the names of people who were involved in the sex ring that you promised to do before you became FBI director.
I just told you, I'm not going to release downloaded porn. Of
I'm not
children on
asking
the
about
internet.
that. Fine. I'm asking about all the other files.
What other videos? Tell me. Tell me.
That's what I'm asking.
Tell me.
You're saying there are no videos that would be relevant to anyone else involved in the Jeffrey Epstein sex ring.
Pursuant to Mr. Acosta's collection of information based on the search warrants. That's all we have in our
I
possession.
understand. And I'm asking you that stuff.
That's all we got.
I'm not
What are we prosecuting people with? You know what I mean? Like,
asking all you got. I'm asking you in that stuff. There's nothing that's related to the to any other any other people engaged with Epstein in underage sex.
That's correct. To my knowledge, no.
Okay. Let's talk about the witness interviews.
Okay.
302s of witness interviews. Those are not subject to the court order. Those are not subject to any fictional sealed order for a search warrant. Why aren't you releasing those with the redacted names of the victims?
We are releasing as much as legally allowed. That's why we went back to
How
the
is that?
courts.
How is that not legally allowed?
Sir, do you know how court orders work? Do you know how protective orders work?
Actually,
Do you know how
Mr.
sealing
Patel,
orders
I was
work?
a real prosecutor for 10 years. I know exactly how.
So I was a
court
fake one?
orders- And I want to understand
I was a fake
what
one.
the court order prevents you from releasing witness statements that the FBI took.
You should know that as a real prosecutor, when the court hand downs a protective order and a motion to seal, the material is sealed unless
So
that
your
judge
testimony
waives
here
it.
is that all of those witness statements are under a court order, a protective order.
We are providing everything we can legally provide.
No, that's not my
Congress has
question.
sent us a
My
subpoena.
question is, why are those witness statements that are not grand jury testimony, that if they were under a protective order are no longer under a protective order, why are they not being released?
How are they not
And
under protective
Why
order?
are you not going to the court like you did for the grand jury testimony to unseal those
The
records?
DOJ did go to the court.
No, not on those records. Why aren't you going? You
Gentlemen.
just went on grand jury.
Time of the gentleman has expired. The
You are hiding the Epstein files,
time
Mr.
of the
Patel.
gentleman has expired.
You are part of the cover-up.
whoa,
Can I respond?
oh,
Sure can.
Any allegations that I'm a part of a cover-up to protect child sexual trafficking and victims of human trafficking and sexual crimes is patently and categorically false in the work of my
So I hope you will talk to them when they
Gentlemen's
have
time has
requested
expired.
to speak with you. Because the
Gentlemen's time has
victims have
expired. Gentleman
requested
yields
and you are
back.
not responding to them.
Director, yes or no? Is the FBI still spying on parents at school board meetings?
PTA moms.
No, sir.
What?
Is the FBI still targeting Catholics?
No, sir.
Is the FBI still spying on President Trump?
I don't believe so.
Is the FBI still censoring Americans?
No, sir.
Is the FBI still targeting Americans for shopping at Cabela's or purchasing Bibles?
Nobody is targeted for their faith.
Is the FBI still targeting Americans who are pro-life?
Nobody is targeting anyone for their
Is
beliefs.
the FBI still cooking the books on crime data?
The crime data is real.
Is the FBI still purging agents for conservative viewpoints?
No one at the FBI has asked their viewpoints on policy.
Is the FBI still labeling the Betsy Ross flag, the flag of the American Revolution, a hate symbol?
No.
Well, maybe that's why you've been able to, what was the number? 23,000 bad guys you've arrested, a huge increase from the same time period in the previous administration. I think you said 1,400 predators, 4,000 children rescued.
Show your
Were those
legs.
the facts?
4,700, 35% increase on children rescued.
Yeah. And you got the guy that, Abbey Gate.
We got the Abbey Gate guy.
The guy from the 4th District of Ohio who lost his life there, serving our country. We appreciate that. Maybe when you're not focused on politics, you can actually do what the FBI is supposed to do. Go get the bad guys, right?
That's what the men and women of the FBI do.
Woo! No politics,
Director,
baby.
did
Look at that. Let's ring the bell. Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Look at that.
John Brennan lie to Congress? Let me just read a couple things actually before you answer that. 2 years ago, we had Mr. Brennan in for an interview, and I asked him, how'd you learn about the dossier in December of 2016? Mr. Brennan replied, I received a copy of it from the FBI, and the CIA was very much opposed to having any reference or inclusion of the Steele dossier in the intelligence community assessment. That's what John Brennan told the United States Congress. 7 weeks ago, the Director of National Intelligence told us this: John Brennan lied and denied using the dossier in the intelligence community assessment because he knew it was discredited. CIA officer told the House Intelligence Committee Brennan refused to remove it, and when confronted with the dossier's main flaws, he responded, yes, but doesn't it ring true? John Brennan lied to us?
Mr. Chairman, I won't stylize the evidence. What I will say is that the intelligence community assessment, those that created it and any individual involved with it, is an ongoing investigation.
There's an investigation into what took place in December and January of December 2016, January 2017, when this whole thing started, this grand conspiracy. That is being investigated. Is that right?
That has been publicly announced by the department.
That's been announced by the department. Did Chris Wray hide documents from this committee?
You would know better than me, sir.
Well, I think you told us like 700 pieces of information you've given this committee since you've been director relative to just one incident, the Catholic memorandum from the Richmond field office.
I can give you the comparison, sir. Yeah. The Catholic memo, I believe we turned over.
I mean, that guy's mouth has not moved at all right here. Like, do you know that you have to like use a lot of muscles to keep your mouth like that?
750 documents. In Mr. Ray's tenure, I believe they turned over 19 pages.
19 pages.
Like, hey, honey, how you doing? How was your day? Hey,
Give
hon,
the 700.
I'm ready to give you a little sucky sucky.
In Mr. Ray's tenure, I believe they turned over 19 pages.
19 pages. You give it a 700. Why would Chris Wray hide information from this committee?
You
Want
have
to hazard a guess?
Sorry,
Hazard a guess why he would do that?
I don't know, sir.
I think maybe it was because FBI was spying on a priest, trying to get him to break the priest penitent confidence that exists. I think maybe that was the reason.
You'd have to ask him, sir.
Yeah, we'd love to do that. I want to read a few names here. Arctic Haze, Tropic Vortex, Riding Hood, Foggy Falls, Echoes Fade, Sirens Lure, Genetic Christmas. What are these code names about, Director? You know?
Not off the top.
Well, Arctic Haze, Tropic Vortex. My understanding these are code names for leak investigations of classified information from the year 2017. Does that ring a bell?
2017.
In terms of leak investigations, many of those are classified and many of those are ongoing, Mr. Chairman. But we are working with you to produce documents as we close those investigations or as we declassify them.
Let me ask you this question, because this is something I've wondered about, the way the FBI used to work, the way this whole thing kind of, so many of these things unfolded. Seems to me you had all these people in government leaking information that then gets reported in the press. There's a story written about it. And then that article is then used to further the investigation and move forward with what they want to do.
Yeah, just like the Idaho 4 case, you know, leaking information to the press, a Dateline coming out and having all this shit.
Did that take place back in 16 and 17?
That's the exact scenario that took place in the FISA application for Carter Page and the rest of the Trump campaign.
And that is frightening, because that's what the CIA is supposed to do in foreign countries. It's not supposed to happen to Americans, but it did, didn't it, Director?
Yes.
And not just any Americans, it happened with the President of the United States. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you were the key guy in helping expose that. And I think our country will be forever grateful for what you did to let the country know that was going on involving Americans, which is not supposed to happen, and not just, again, any American, but the President of the United States. Chair now recognizes the gentlelady from California.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm concerned by reports that FBI agents have been diverted from their important work on crime and anti-terrorism to work on matters that are not critical to our safety. I'd like to play the video, the whole video.
Jeffrey
clip.
Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean,
So
there's,
that's under direct control of the director of the FBI. Or
so
the-
the Black Book, it's not just sitting, I mean, that's Hoover power times 10.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the Black Book.
In contrast to that attitude of let it all out, we're getting reports of actions that run contrary to getting everything out, and that also involve diversions of FBI resources. For example, an FBI whistleblower reported that you were pressured by the Attorney General to place 1,000 personnel on 24-hour shifts to mine roughly 100,000 Epstein-related records to redact President Trump's name from the files. Bloomberg reported this, that you directed FBI special agents from the New York and Washington field offices to join the Bureau's FOIA employees in Winchester and another building a few miles away, and that while reviewing the Epstein files, FBI personnel identified numerous references to Trump in the documents, and people familiar with the matter said that Trump's name, along with other high-profile individuals, was blacked out. Now, the New York Times reports, and this is a quote, Justice Department officials diverted hundreds of FBI employees and federal prosecutors from their regular duties to go through the documents at least 4 times, including once to flag any references to Mr. Trump and other prominent figures. Details of the review were based on accounts by 3 former FBI and Justice Department officials who spoke on condition of anonymity because of fears of retaliation. And further,
All I have to say is Miss Lofgren don't give a fuck. Okay, she is in here with her bright poppin' lipstick, her green blazer, her black shirt under her green blazer, and I have to say it, dude. She makes Garth look like a fool. Like this, she's like, "Look at me, Garth from Wayne's World. Hold my beer, bitch."
that the FBI finished, after they finished its review of the files and materials, was sent to a team of Justice Department lawyers. who
Fucking that
dealt with
shit,
the
Miss Thang.
FBI's redactions.
Hold my
and,
beer.
quote, were instructed to flag any mentions of Mr. Trump and other celebrities. Now, I have 3 questions for you, Mr. Patel, about this. First, how many times did President Trump's name appear in the Epstein files? Was it more than 100, more than 1,000? Were the agents who were pulled from their duties to redact the president's name from the Epstein files working on criminal cases or national security cases?
They're working
or
in the Idaho
child
case.
sex trafficking cases? And are the number of agents that have been reported diverted for these purposes, is that accurate?
No.
No what?
You asked if it was accurate. I said it wasn't.
So you're saying that none of this happened? That,
No, I'm saying it was inaccurate.
okay. How many times did President Trump appear in the Epstein files? More than 100, more than 1,000?
No, and what we've been able to release is what we've been legally able to release, and that has.
No,
been
that's not the
released.
question.
How many times? Why can't anybody just answer how many times? I'm just curious. What the fuck's the answer?
I asked you, how many times did the president's name appear?
I don't know.
It's your testimony. You do not know that
A
answer.
number of times, no.
More than
can you
100.
Tell us how many agents were diverted for this task and what they were working on.
When you say diverted, you make it seem.
Well, why doesn't she just say, like, is it more than 10 then? I'm not asking you to have the exact number, even though you were spitting some motherfucking numbers, okay, just a minute ago. You knew that you're going to be questioned about this. And so I'm not asking for an exact number. I'm just asking for, is it more or less than this?
As if agents were pulled off what they do all the time. Agents at the FBI masterfully do double duty and triple duty. Because of the public's interest in this case, we flex resources.
How about
to
Nick
make sure that
Balance?
we can
Is he pulling
answer
double
the
duty?
public's sig-
How often is Nick Balance being called to work on things? Is that why he missed those handoffs? He looked like he was a running back from the 1989 Browns team.
Demand. So do you want us to look through the material and provide it to you, or you do not want us to do that?
So it's
Which
your
one is it?
it's your testimony that no one was diverted from a criminal matter, that this was a top priority to go through this material to look for Mr. Trump's name. Is that your testimony? That's the highest priority for the FBI?
What's one of the most impressive things about the FBI leadership and the careers that are in place is that they make the decisions on who to send where on priorities and make sure the mission needs are not hurt. And that's what happened here.
It's shocking to me that the FBI would think that erasing Mr. Trump's name from the Epstein files is a high priority when we have crime, we have national security threats, we have terrorism threats, we have murders such as that occurred, unfortunately, with Mr. Kirk. It's shocking to hear that that's your highest priority. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I
That's
yield
literally
back.
not what I said.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized.
Director, is President Trump implicated in any wrongdoing related to Jeffrey Epstein?
Based on the entirety of the evidence that we have, absolutely not.
The president is not implicated.
Correct.
Thank you. I want to talk a little bit about China's malign influence here in America. And, we've seen spy balloons traverse the United States. We've seen police stations in communities around America. And sitting in the chair you're in just 2 years ago, there was a sheriff from Cochise County, Arizona, Mark Daniels, that was here, who said that the exponential increase in the amount of fentanyl that is coming into America is directly related to the open borders policies of the previous administration. Do you agree with Sheriff Daniels' characterization?
In large part, yes.
So since you've been director, has there been a reduction with, we've talked about how the border is largely secure now, right?
Okay, then I have a question. Then how come in Pennsylvania, which is not, borders, no, they were in a huge fentanyl ring, which was doing, they were using the United States Postal Service to mail the product. So can we talk about that? It's a huge FBI operation, Night Stalker.
The southern border, yes, sir.
The southern border is largely secure. Has there been a concomitant reduction or a reduction in the amount of fentanyl that is coming into America?
There has been a massive reduction to the tune of, we have seized more than 25% year to date this year than the prior year. And that's enough fentanyl to kill 120 million Americans.
Does China play a role in this fentanyl that's coming to America?
As I stated in my opening, sir, what they do and the companies in China, mainland China, do is produce the precursors and the cutting agents that they send ship overseas through various countries into the Mexican drug cartels who produce it. So they basically are the cooks in terms of the ingredients.
Tell us, what is the FBI doing to stop China from delivering death to America?
So for the first time in a decade, I actually reached out to my counterpart at the Ministry of Public Security. No one at the FBI had done so, to engage.
Ministry of Security, where's that?
In mainland China.
In mainland China, thank you.
To engage in a conversation to say, hey, can we have a certain number of these precursor chemicals listed in China so that they become illegal and illegal to trade. We're also working with our counterparts in places like India and Guatemala because the transshipment routes of the precursors, the Mexican drug cartels have gotten creative, and instead of coming directly to America are going into these countries. And we've had massive success in India and Guatemala, and in those governments, great partnerships in shutting down the ability to ship the precursors into those countries, which are ultimately destined to America.
So those people that are working with security agencies have been working with you, is that accurate?
Yes, sir.
So I want to turn to a couple cases that are at the University of Michigan, where Chinese nationals on behalf of the Chinese government smuggled in illicit biological materials, stuff that can harm our agricultural industry. What actions are you taking as we see repeated stories of Chinese nationals doing this in the United States?
So just that, sir, in this calendar year alone, as I was mentioning, our counterintelligence operations and cases brought against the Chinese are up by, I think, something like 40%. And specifically, the cases in Michigan show two threat streams, not just against our agricultural industry, which is a threat to national security, but they were also bringing in chemical agents and mushrooms. I'm not the exact expert.
Shroomies?
That would have ultimately hurt our population. We arrested and charged all of those individuals, and we are aggressively going after them in every single state because they weren't doing it in Michigan alone.
Should research universities across the United States be doing a thorough job of vetting Chinese nationals that are coming to their universities?
They should.
Turning to spying in America, you know, we heard the stories about Senator Dianne Feinstein's driver, who was a Chinese spy. We're familiar with Linda's son, who worked in Governor Hochul's office, Christine Fang in California. What are you doing to find these people who are Chinese spies that are trying to burrow themselves into the politics of America? Because we know it's happening, right?
Yes, it is. And what our counterintelligence unit is doing is aggressively seeking the intelligence into where these individuals are working. Then we are utilizing our operational authorities to go in and investigate them either through our human source networks and collecting information through lawful process, online search warrants and data so that we can bring proper arrest charges and publicize to the world what they're doing here. And just because we've caught a few doesn't mean we've caught everybody. We've got a lot more to go.
I get one more quick question in. The FBI arrested.
Why aren't any of the people in Pennsylvania that have pled guilty with the FBI in federal court?
The judge in Wisconsin, Hannah Dugan, for interfering with a federal law enforcement operation.
Hey.
Could you tell us a little bit about that? And is a judge above the law here in the United States of America?
Well, no one is, and that case is ongoing. But as you stated, and these allegations that there was an interference in a federal lawfully executed federal law enforcement priority that was interfered with.
I yield back, Mr.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Tennessee is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Director Patel, I believe you had primary importance in starting Operation Viper in Memphis. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Operation Viper brought in the FBI, DEA, the ATF to help Memphis police in policing the city.
That'll be phase two, sir. Phase one was FBI and local law enforcement in Memphis for the last few months.
Okay.
Hey, Memphis.
Good job. And the police director and the mayor have told me that that has been helpful. The FBI working with the police. And the FBI are trained in law enforcement. They know Miranda rights. They know how to do policing, and they do a good job working with the police. Do you think that the National Guard is necessary to do the work that the FBI is doing now?
Thank you. I do think it's necessary to finish it. What we've done is 500 arrests in Memphis and 110 federal indictments. But what we need to do is we've only secured a piece of where the criminal conduct is occurring in Memphis, and we can't work inside perimeters that are not established and safe, and we don't have the manpower to give us.
But then we're not in. We indict people, but then they're never serving any time. The people in Pennsylvania and your big, like you go Google these people's names. I can't find any like information. I mean, I know for a fact one person in Pennsylvania who pled guilty to 400 grams of carfentanil and fentanyl being passed back and forth through the mail. Okay. And was just conspiring and just providing addresses for people. This was in 2020. It is 2025. How has this person not had a sentencing date and then they're taken off in fucking cuffs? What the hell are you, what are you talking about?
Space to fully go into the areas where the criminal activity remains.
Well, are you suggesting that the National Guard is going to go into the more heavily crime areas?
They're going to establish, like they did in Washington, D.C., perimeters where local law enforcement and the FBI, DEA, ATF, and U.S. Marshals can go into. We can't be going into all these areas knowing that they're extremely volatile and jeopardizing the safety of our agents.
Did the National Guard do anything in Washington to help the
Yep.
FBI stay safe from these dangerous elements?
They established perimeters.
Establish perimeter, and the criminals knew about it, so they.
It was a visible force, sir, so they kind of saw it.
Why aren't we asking these
What
type
you
of
did, I
questions?
commend you for what you did, and I think the FBI coming in, we have a crime problem in Memphis. The FBI has helped, DEA will help, and the ATF will help. I don't think the National Guard's going to help, and what I've seen, they're not trained in law enforcement, are they?
No, sir.
And so that could be a problem. Who will direct the National Guard in Memphis? Will it be, will they have control?
Wait,
over
what did
your
I just hear there?
agents? They're not trained in law enforcement.
Kind of saw it.
Well, what you did, I commend you for what you did, and I think the FBI coming in, we have a crime problem in Memphis. The FBI has helped, DEA will help, and the ATF will help. I don't think the National Guard's going to help, and what I've seen, they're not trained in law enforcement, are they?
No, sir.
And so that could be a problem. Who will direct the National Guard in Memphis? Will it be, will they have control over your agents?
No, sir, they won't.
Who will have control over your agents? You?
Well, the SAC and then ultimately the chain of command up to Washington, D.C. will control the FBI, but there's a task force that was put together.
Yeah.
That is going to be led by an interagency.
These
heads of
task
U.S.
force. I
Marshals,
want to talk about
DEA,
these
and
task
FBI
force.
will be working together with DHS collectively on this.
Have you visited Memphis before?
Yes, sir, I have.
So you know how good a city it is.
I love Memphis.
A lot of us do. Memphis is a great city, great history, civil rights museum. Might say something about slavery, but that was the history. It needs to be taught.
Yeah, it does.
Blues,
Beale
Elvis,
Street.
Beale Street, right, barbecue. And people should come. It's not a troubled city. We've got some crime, but it's not a troubled city. We're not troubled, and we love our city. And we hope that the National Guard doesn't come in and cause people to have questions about Memphis, because it's a city they should visit. Let me ask you this about, you said that the homicide rates are coming down to an all-time low.
In modern recorded U.S. history, yes,
When
sir.
does modern recorded history start?
I think the FBI, and I'll get back to you on this, has stats on that going back about 30 years, sir.
Okay, I was thinking back to Ozzie and Harriet, and I didn't think you could beat Ozzie and Harriet's time.
Oh,
Secondly, you
30
mentioned
years.
the Epstein case.
30 years.
Did any of the women that were victims, they
What?
came up here and had a press conference and all, did any of them contact your office and ask to give information?
to my knowledge, no, sir.
If they did, let me ask you first, is there a statute of limitations on sex crimes like that, with sex with a minor, rape?
What?
The DOJ is the expert, but I do not believe there's a statute on that, limitations on that.
So if there's not a statute of limitations, should you not be interviewing those people who know who raped them and the names and the places and give you that information? That seems like that's a treasure trove of information. It's a serious
Yeah.
number of crimes.
Probably.
Sir, I couldn't agree with you more. We've been very public about asking individuals to come forward with new information, and we would run out every single lead on that.
Well, I'm sure the women will come forward, especially today, to be sure that they will get an opportunity, because that seems like something we ought to do. Mr. Driscoll, what was his reputation?
I can't comment on Mr. Driscoll's matter. It's an ongoing litigation.
Yeah, but his reputation you could tell us about.
Oh,
I can't tell you about his reputation. His work has been laid out in that lawsuit.
How many of the FBI agents who worked on the January 6th case have been fired?
I don't have that number, sir.
Do you have a ballpark figure?
No, but I can tell you that individuals based on case assignments in the FBI that I have led have not been terminated for case assignments.
Thank you, sir. And come back to Memphis, and you work with Kevin Kane in our tourism bureau.
he's great.
Thank you. And thank you for your work in Memphis.
Gentleman, yes, back.
Mr. Chairman, I have a unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized.
So I've got 4 documents I'd like to introduce into the record. The first one is Jeffrey Epstein's 6 story played out for years in plain sight. And Acosta is quoted in here saying, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone." The second document is entitled, "What Epstein's Bodyguard Warned About His CIA Connections." The third document is from Fox Digital. It's titled, "Epstein's Private Calendar Reveals Planned Meetings with Obama Admin Official CIA Chief." And the last document is Wall Street Journal article that highlights Ehud Barak's 36 meetings with Jeffrey Epstein. He was the former Prime Minister of Israel and head of military intelligence for Israel.
Without
It
objection.
may have held that title when he met Epstein, and then, yes.
Without objection, the gentleman will hold for a second. The gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one UC request. This is Judge Engelmeyer's decision from August in U.S. versus Epstein, stating the government's 100,000 pages of Epstein files dwarfs the 70-odd pages of Epstein grand jury materials.
Without objection, the gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, I watched some of your Senate hearing yesterday when Senator Kennedy asked you, you've seen most of the files, who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these women to besides himself? You replied, according to the transcript, there is no credible information that he trafficked them to anyone else. You also said somewhere in the hearing and here today that the problem is that the case files are constrained by limited search warrants from 2006 to 2007, and that the non-prosecution agreement hamstrung future investigations. Those constraints only apply to Southern District of Florida. They do not apply to Southern District of New York, the location of the 2019 sex trafficking indictment, which produced many things, including a series of FD 302 documents. According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation, these documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, including Mr. Jess Staley, CEO of Barclays Bank, who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked victims to, victims including minors such as Virginia Roberts Ufree, may she rest in peace. That list also includes at least 19 other individuals, one Hollywood producer worth a few $100 million, one royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music industry, one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada. We know these people exist in the FBI files, the files that you control. I don't know exactly who they are, but the FBI does. Have you launched any investigations into any of these people, and have you seen these 302 documents?
Sir, I have asked my FBI agents to review the entirety of the Epstein files and bring forth any credible information. And we're working with Congress not only to divulge that information and produce it to you, but any investigations that arise from any credible investigation will be brought. There have been no new materials brought to me launching a new indictment.
So is the loophole here, or is it your assertion that these victims aren't credible, that the 302s maybe didn't produce credible statements that rise to a probable cause?
It's not my assertion, sir. It's the assertion of 2 different United States attorneys' offices from 3 separate administrations who investigated those same materials in lifetime.
Are the 302 documents in the FBI's possession?
They reviewed all that, yes, sir.
And so have you reviewed those 302 documents that where the victims name the people who victimized them?
If I personally know, but the FBI has.
So how can you sit here and in front of the Senate and say there are no names?
I said
I named one today.
I said we are not in the practice at the Department of Justice FBI of releasing victims' names. That is not what we do. We are also not in the habit of releasing incredible information. That's not what we do. But multiple authorities have looked at the entirety of what we have.
Okay, I got to move on here. Were you present when the AG had the White House event when she released the binders to social media?
I love it right there. He's like, I'm not going to
influencers?
listen to you gaslight me.
So if you're willing to meet with social media influencers who stood to benefit from the sensational and sad stories of these victims, will you meet with the victims as well?
The FBI will meet with anyone who has new information.
Will you personally meet with them?
The FBI and the professionals who are handling the cases will.
Were you instructed that it was important to release the documents to the Oversight Committee on the day of my introduction of the discharge petition to release these files?
I don't know what day that was, so no.
Well, they were released that day, and there were victims' names who weren't redacted because they were in such a rush, and the victims are not happy about that. Have you investigated any of the CIA connections? Have you seen the CIA file on Jeffrey Epstein? And if you wanted to see it, would they show it to you?
Well, I can speak for the FBI. And that's presuming there's a CIA case file. And I've reviewed everything that the interagency, not I, the FBI, that was provided to us.
Would you be willing to look at the CIA file on Jeffrey Epstein?
If there is such a file, and if it has not already been turned over to the FBI will look at any new investigative leads.
Have you made any progress on the pipe bomb investigation, January 6th? And have you made any progress on the motive of the Las Vegas shooter?
Ooh.
As to the first,
Whoa.
it's an ongoing investigation, and we have made progress. As to the second, sir, I'll have to get back to you.
All right, thank you. I yield back.
The Las
Chairman, I have a
Vegas
unanimous
shooter? Are we
consent
talking about the
Unanimous
Jason
consent
Aldean
request from the gentleman
concert?
from New York.
I ask unanimous consent to introduce.
Whoa, that was a curveball for me. Holy shit, is that what he's talking about? Because I would love to talk about Paddock. Let's talk about Paddock, because I think that's all fucking wild. Oh, don't even get me started on the Las Vegas shooter. Paddock? Wow, talk about a curveball right there. Woohoo! Shit. Damn, I can talk about Paddock all day. Shit.
Signed memorandum from July 7th, 2025 that says
Just
we
right
did
there,
not
yeah,
uncover
just
evidence
boom.
that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties with the insignia of the Department of Justice and the FBI.
Without objection.
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Gentleman from Georgia.
unanimous consent request. It's a article entitled DOJ Deletes Study Showing Domestic Terrorists Are Most Often Right-Wing.
Without objection.
Thank you.
Gentleman from Georgia is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, thank you for being here today. I want to first talk about the significant role that the FBI plays in combating the national security threats posed by our nation's greatest threat, our nation's greatest security threat, China and the Chinese Communist Party. It's a fact that China is America's most significant national security threat. Isn't that correct?
I would say so, sir.
And you would agree with me that China wants to dominate the United States of America,
I think that's largely their plan.
and they want to dominate the world, both militarily and economically. Isn't that correct?
I think so.
And sir, you've been FBI director for the last, 8 months?
7 months, yes.
7 months, and during that time, have you held any stock in any companies founded in China?
I don't believe so.
Well, you do own stock in a company known as Elite Depot, don't you?
Which one, sorry?
Elite Depot. You own stock.
I think that's, I'll have to get back to you. I think it's a law firm and it's a company out of Singapore.
Okay, well, no, the company out of Singapore, which is owned by Elite Depot, is the Shein Company, which was founded in China, correct?
That company operates out of Taiwan.
Well, they changed their headquarters from China back in 2022 to Singapore for tax purposes, but it's owned by a Chinese billionaire. I think his name is Charlie Zhu, and you own stock in the company that owns Shein.
Which I disclosed during my confirmation
You
process.
certainly did. And now, do you still hold that stock in that Chinese company?
Pursuant to the Department of Justice, who reviewed my material that was submitted during my confirmation process, I was able to
Give it up for Georgia, baby. Georgia coming in with the 1-2. Let's talk about your stocks.
hold certain stocks, and they made
So
the
you
decision.
still hold the stocks that you have? You still hold on to these Chinese stocks, these stocks in this Chinese company?
Disagree that it's a Chinese company, but I was in the DOJ, when you're appointed, makes a call on what you can and can't
Well,
possess.
now, let me ask you this. Chinese companies steal trademarks. They produce counterfeit products and sell them over the internet on platforms such as Shein. They steal intellectual property. They steal data from American companies. And to me, it seems inconsistent with your role as FBI director that you would own stock in a company that is based in a country that is the nation's premier national security threat. It's like you are putting your own financial security over the security of the nation.
I disagree with that characterization.
Well, I think the American people look at it like it's a classic situation of the fox guarding the hen house. If the FBI is charged with investigating espionage, economic espionage by companies controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, and you are the director of the FBI, you've got a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Sir, I would just show if there's any intimation that I'm
Why
against.
are you holding on to this stock?
It wasn't a decision I made.
And it's valued at up to $5 million as of when you last reported, correct? $5 million in
No,
stock?
I don't follow it. The
You don't
department-
follow it, but
the
you're still
department-
making money off of it.
I don't have any money off of anything.
Well,
What I have done,
so
what,
Trump's trade policies directly impact.
How do you not know about your money? What do you mean? This guy is saying that you got $5 million. $5 million. He's over here saying, I don't even know. What? Well, because I got Sue and I got Tammy and I got Barbara. I got all my secretaries doing all that stuff.
The value of that Chinese stock. Won't you agree with that?
which trade policy? I'm not a trade expert.
Okay, all right.
But I want to
You're
tell you
playing
this.
Crazy on me today. Let me ask you this question. Why are you hiding pedophiles? Why are you shielding pedophiles? Why are you protecting pedophiles?
That is maybe the most offensive thing you could say to me, given the numbers.
Well, you have not released
Given
the
the
Epstein
numbers
files.
of pedophiles.
You were aware of
we
the
have
Epstein
arrested.
client list that was published in the 18,000.
Time the gentleman has
emails released?
expired.
Oh, did it? It always just happens.
Can you answer the
Can I
question?
just respond?
Of course, the gentleman can answer the question.
Since I took over the FBI, there has been a 33% increase.
Sir, all of that
Encounter-
started under Christopher
Your time
Wray.
is done,
No,
but
it didn't.
the witness gets
All
to
of
answer
that
the
started
question,
under
and
the
then we'll go to our
previous,
next.
33
FBI director, sir, and you're coming in here trying to take credit for something that a previous director
Gentlemen,
instituted and largely brought to conclusion.
I take
I
no
think it's pretty
credit.
clear that the
It's
director
offensive.
It's offensive.
numbers are so
incorrect
much
also.
better than the previous director.
It's
Dr.
deceptive.
Patel, if you want to
I take-
answer the question.
I take no credit. The men and women of the FBI have seen a 33% increase in the number of counterintelligence arrests out of the
And
PRC.
so all of a sudden, with
And
you
the-
coming in 7 months ago,
And,
Gentlemen's time has
and-
expired.
and on the
sir,
pedophile
American public not gonna
accusation,
go for that.
they've arrested 1,500 child predators in the last 7 months.
Under investigations
More
initiated
than
by
anybody
the prior
Appreciate the
directorship.
director's good work, and we really appreciate that the time the gentleman has expired. We now go to the gentleman from Texas.
Texas.
Thank you,
Okay.
Chairman. Thank the FBI Director for coming before the committee. I assume the FBI Director, Mr. Patel, I believe you probably agree with me that there is a significant organized effort on the left side of the political spectrum to advance criminal organizations being able to put more criminals out on the streets.
What?
That what we've seen this in daily action. Are you familiar with the report that came out this last Monday from the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund?
I'm not familiar with that, sorry.
So this report came out this past Monday, and it said that significant amount of the money flowing out of George Soros and
What
other
up, bro?
leftist organizations and funders has been funding DAs and prosecutors, and quote, many of these DAs have never managed an office, prosecuted a criminal case, developed organizational policies. In dozens of America's largest cities and counties, this report finds these progressive district attorneys have outsourced core parts of the American criminal justice system to activists and political donors, taking direction and advice on everything from staffing decisions and communication strategy. Organizations, it's a complex web of donors going in through these organizations to put radical DAs and prosecutors out there, putting criminals on the streets. Does the FBI Director agree that this exists and is a problem?
I will accept the factual representation, and if that exists, it is a problem.
The organizations such as TIDES, the Fair and Just Prosecution, Brenner Center for Justice, Partnership for Safety and Justice, the Vera Institute of Justice, the amount of dollars flowing from George Soros through and to these organizations and to the various prosecutors that have resulted in increased crime on our streets, including the brutal murder of the Ukrainian refugee in Charlotte. I bring that up because that is one component of the problem. In addition, we have the organized effort targeting our border, the NGOs, the nonprofits, and the deep pockets, the United Nations, charitable organizations, and a long list of over 250 organizations that the Center for Immigration Studies put out that lays out a complex web of organizations that were moving people into our country, knowing that they're dangerous, knowing that they're criminal, associated with taxpayer dollars flowing through the United Nations and donor dollars flowing through organizations, including ostensibly religious ones, putting these dangerous individuals on the street that resulted in fentanyl in our communities, that resulted in the death of Jocelyn Nungare, of hundreds, thousands even, as the director testified, 100,000 people dying from these narcotics every year. All of this in an organized effort, a complete effort by the radical left to use taxpayer dollars and these dollars to put people on our streets. In addition, the extent to which we've seen now with the Southern Poverty Law Center and their hate map targeting, for example, the Family Research Council, where we had a shooting right here in DC over a decade ago, putting Charlie Kirk, putting a target on TPUSA, Antifa, other radical organizations that are very specifically organized in targeting conservatives and ordinary Americans. Well, how about the organized effort to infiltrate our schools and advance a transgender agenda and advance a radical agenda, perhaps one that we will see exposed further in the individual that actually shot Charlie Kirk? Here's my question.
God.
Will you as the director, and are you as the director, pursuing all legal channels to follow the truth wherever it may lead on this organized effort, one? And two, do you agree that Congress should take all action necessary to expose this web of dollars that are flowing to undermine our way of life? We got another minute in my time, then I'd like to hear from you on this topic broadly.
I'll keep it short. Investigatively speaking, we are doing the following. We are following the money. We're following the money in every organization and every person that is violating the federal code. And it doesn't matter what your background or ideology is. We are following the money. We are using legal process to follow that money, issuing subpoenas to follow that money, using grand juries to follow that money. And when we have results to recommend for prosecution to the Department of Justice, we will do that. And we will continue to publicize documents through Congress, yes, when we make these findings.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like unanimous consent to insert the record outsourcing justice by the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund that I alluded to before. I would ask unanimous consent to add a 2024 list provided by the Center for Immigration Studies on these United Nations and other affiliated groups that are responsible, over 250 of them, for moving individuals into our country in a coordinated effort. I would like unanimous consent to insert a letter that I sent that currently has 33 members of the United States House of Representatives have signed on it, calling for a special select committee to pursue the organized effort from the radical left to target and putting us in danger. With that, I would yield back.
Without objection. Gentleman yields back.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of unanimous
Gentleman's requests.
One is a letter from Senator Tom Cotton dated last year urging the U.S. to, quote, ensure that data from U.S. companies is not harvested by the Chinese Communist Party through the purchase of Xi'an software and technology.
Without objection.
And also a statement by Marco Rubio, then Senator Marco Rubio, which warned our UK allies about, quote, Xi'an's deep ties to the People's Republic of China.
Without objection.
Also, the record crime is down in 2025. Trump doesn't deserve credit, which demonstrates that the crime rates have been decreasing since 2023, which was published by the Vera Institute. Also, a unanimous consent request to enter into the record a NPR report from July of 2024. GOP vows to make America safe again. Statistics contradict their growing crime claims.
Without objection.
Also, a report out of the American Presidency Project dated January 17, 2025, record low crime during the Biden-Harris administration.
Without objection.
Also, Joe Biden is correct that violent crime is near a 50-year low, which was a PolitiFact publication of May 2024. And last but not least, a FBI releases 2024 reported crimes in the nation statistics. These are FBI statistics published on August 5th, 2025, which details decreases in murder, rape, aggravated assault, and robbery in 2024.
Without objection. Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for unanimous consent.
Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to submit two sets of documents. The first is a series of emails from the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. They are making FOIA requests to get their own FBI files and not having any success. So I want to bring attention to that by submitting that to the record. The second document that I want to submit to the record, for the record, I know we don't usually read these. This one's not readable. It's completely redacted for the most part, the first 50 pages. This is actually the search warrant that was served on James O'Keefe for a diary that he had already given to the government 2 months before. And as it turns out, there were no indictments here, yet he still doesn't know why he was raided. And I think he deserves to know. So,
Without objection.
thank you.
The chair now recognizes the gentleman from California.
Director, the first time you saw Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files. Did you close the files or keep reading?
I have reviewed not the entirety of the files.
What?
So
You haven't reviewed all of the Epstein files?
Personally, no.
You're the director of the FBI. This is the largest sex trafficking case the FBI has ever been a part of. Buck stops at the top, and your testimony today is you have not reviewed all the files.
What I've been doing is been busy providing the safest country this country has seen in modern U.S. history in historic speed, because the men and women of the FBI are given the resources to reduce the homicide rate, to reduce the drug trafficking rate, to reduce the amount of children that are being trafficked and the number of
It sounds like
pedophiles that
those
we have
children
arrested
being
is
trafficked. I
record high.
appreciate the director reviewing the files. You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not
Could the
released
number at least
anyone's
be 1,000
name
times?
that we have not released anyone's
Could it
name in the
at least
Epstein
be
files
1,000
that has
times?
not been credible.
Director, could it
We
at
have
least be 1,000
released
times?
every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
You can
so-
characterize the numbers however you want it.
Reclaiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times. Which
It's not.
leads me-
It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No,
Is it at least 100 times?
no.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
Do you think it might be your job?
How
to
would he know the number if he hasn't
My
read it?
job is to provide for the safety and security of this country. My job is not to engage in political
And that includes
innuendo,
protecting
so you can
sexual
go out to the
assault victims.
sticks and get your 20-second hit in your
So
fundraising
reclaiming my
article.
time,
And
Director.
keep going, reclaiming your time, because the
Director,
people of California
If
are being
Trump- if the
underserved by
president-
your
The president
representation.
is not implicated. Why not release everything that involves?
We have released everything, the president and anyone else's side, that is credible and lawfully be able to be released. Your fixation on this matter and baseless accusations that I'm hiding
Also
child
Mr. Mass's
pedophiles is disgusting.
interest.
Anyone that says that needs to look at the stats alone and go back to the state of California, who's receiving the biggest surge in
So,
FBI resources through
Director-
my redeployment, because the cities of Los Angeles, San Diego, and San
Reclaiming
Francisco
my time,
need it.
Director. Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our
Did you
team.
tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's
Did you,
name is
it's
in the
a simple
attorney's
question.
file.
Did you tell the Attorney General that the president's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein. We have reviewed.
The question is
painstakingly
simple.
Who
Did you
can
tell
be-
the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out? if
Yes
you're
or
gonna mock
no,
me?
Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No, A, B, C.
Director,
E, F.
it
Don't
sounds
wanna
like
do
you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
Why don't you try serving your
Director,
constituency
did
by
you tell the
focusing on
Attorney
reducing
General
violent
that Donald
crime in this
Trump's name-
country and the number of pedophiles that are
Director,
legally
reclaiming my
harbored in
time,
your
Director.
sanctuary cities in
Director,
California?
reclaiming
I'll
my
work with
time.
you on that. Do
Regular
you wanna
order, Mr.
work with us
Chairman.
on that?
Director,
Time
reclaiming my
belongs to
time.
the gentleman from California.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or
Question
no?
has been asked and answered.
You have not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt. Director, did Donald Trump ever say to you, just find and release the entire truth? Don't worry if I'm in it.
The instructions from the administration were to release all credible information, and we have done that.
Did Donald Trump ever provide information about Jeffrey Epstein as an informant?
Donald Trump has not been, and I can only speak for the FBI, an informant of the FBI.
So, Director, you've played this cute shell game where you say you can't release everything because the court has said that it legally is not allowed to be released, but the court calls bullshit. Judge Richard Berman said that when you went to the court, quote, information contained in the Epstein grand jury transcripts pales in comparison to Epstein investigation information and materials in the hands of the Department of Justice. So let's move on, Director. You wrote a book called Government Gangsters. You identified 20 individuals in that book. You put me on that list at the top of the list. Thank you. My children find it flattering. 20 of those individuals have been investigated or have had adverse actions. Director, considering that you have identified these people as, quote, government gangsters, will you recuse yourself from making any investigation decisions about these individuals?
Anyone that has been terminated at the FBI has been done
No,
so
no, the
because
question
they failed
again.
to meet the muster in their
Director,
constitutional
I will
obligation.
work on the
No.
audio-visual capabilities.
I'm going to
for a
borrow
second.
your
You can hear me?
terminology and call
I'm reclaiming
bullshit
my
on your
time.
entire career in
I'm
Congress.
reclaiming my
It
time,
has been a
Director.
disgrace to the American
Director, I'm
people.
reclaiming my
You
time.
can
Now,
reclaim your
will you
time all you
recuse
want.
yourself?
Mr. Chairman, you're going to allow a witness to speak this way?
Mr.
Chairman,
would you
You'll
give,
recuse yourself, Director.
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman, would you
Mr.
admonish the
Chairman, point of-
witness not to insult members?
The gentleman has no time.
Mr. Chairman, just
Committee will remember.
quick point of order. Could the gentleman be extended an additional 20 seconds to complete his thoughts since the witness decided to interrupt him
And then
continuously?
and the witness will be able to respond if he wants. We'll make sure.
Thank
he has
you.
time to
What
do
is
that.
My question
going on?
Will you, Director, recuse yourself, yes or no, from investigating or making decisions about the 60 individuals, including myself, that you identified as government gangsters? Yes or no?
Time of the gentleman has expired. The
No.
witness may respond if he would like.
And the answer was no, as I heard.
No, he's not going to
Correct.
recuse himself.
The gentleman from Wisconsin, the gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Wisconsin is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman.
Oh,
Thank
my
you,
God.
Director Patel, for being here today. I wanted to talk a little bit about the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the FBI's subsequent investigation. I know it's really sensitive, and you can make the call as to whether or not, obviously, it's something that you can respond to, but I think it's still fresh on many people's minds. I want to congratulate you and Utah law enforcement for the work you did in identifying the suspect and apprehending him. According to public reports, and I think this is what maybe it's, I still have questions about, maybe the public.
Jerry,
According to public
Jerry.
reports, the alleged shooter arrives on the Utah Valley University campus nearly 4 hours before the shooting.
Thank you.
Was that your understanding? Is that kind of,
I'll let the public reports reflect themselves. I don't have the exact timeline.
okay. So we don't have any idea kind of his prep or how he set up or how he utilized that time when he first showed up on campus?
All of those are being currently investigated through our cell phone analysis and through our witness interviews.
Cass.
The state of Utah has now announced charges seeking the death penalty against his suspects, so we're a little limited in what we can continue to say.
Sure, I understand. And the suspect, like you referred to, is then captured on security footage jumping off the roof of the alleged shooting location.
He said he'll let the timelines, the public timelines, speak for themselves. That's the problem, is that there are no public timelines. You're just putting out all of this stuff and you're lumping it into a 33-hour period of time, with the exception of 12/23, the shooting of Charlie. Maybe 11:52 and 12:15 is in there. which we have not seen any. I mean, we've saw a clip, but they have like actual like video.
The Losey Center. Do we have any idea how the suspect got up on the roof in the first place? I think for members of Congress, especially after Butler and Pennsylvania, it's just unimaginable that there could be some type of security breakdown prior to an event of that size where somebody could access a rooftop.
So not commenting on the case, but having gone to the crime scene and walked the steps that we believe were taken, the roof was actually readily accessible through an exterior stairwell, so anyone could have gotten on it.
Okay.
Who would know that
The
if you're not a
suspect
student?
flees on foot to kind of this wooded area where he drops the rifle, wraps it in a towel, and then proceeds to his staged vehicle and basically drives home. So do we have any idea what the towel was about? Was it used later to identify a place where the firearm was left, or?
What we can tell you is the towel, there was a screwdriver found on the rooftop, which DNA was collected off of, and the towel was found wrapped around the firearm in question
With
in
some
a wooded
jizz.
area next to the campus. All have been processed for DNA.
And then, according to the suspect's roommate, there were allegedly messages on instant messaging platforms, specifically Discord, suggesting the towel may have been used to identify that weapon's location. So the public reports have suggested that the shooter acted alone. Do we still believe that that's true? Do we have any idea as to whether or not those Discord messages?
The Discord
led us to
messages I
believe
have, and
that
they're
the
so
shooter
being
may have
misrepresented.
had help in any way, or is
I have the Discord messages. They are so being misrepresented. It's not even funny.
assistance?
I can only speak to the FBI's investigation, and our investigation is ongoing, and we are interviewing any of those individuals involved in that chat and other individuals in the area.
Very good. And so my suggestion, if there are accomplices, I'm sure this is something that the FBI is going to continue to investigate fully and thoroughly into the future.
Yes, sir.
The reason I ask that is because I don't know that that was necessarily the case with Butler, Pennsylvania. So thank you so much for your persistence kind of in this matter. There's still a lot of public questions that need to be asked. Let me shift to another topic very quickly. On July 31st, 2025, the DOJ and the CIA declassified the annex to Special Counsel John Durham's 2023 report on Operation Crossfire Hurricane. The 29-page Durham Annex contains previously classified information about, among other things, the investigative referral of the Clinton campaign plan. Why would somebody place documents in a burn bag related to this case?
That case is very much ongoing, so I can't comment on the stylization of the evidence we're collecting.
Can you comment at all on the Durham Annex as I described it?
The Durham Annex, which has been publicly released, thanks.
Again, good afternoon. Welcome into Truth and Transparency. This is go round 2 for us. I mean, wow, it's been fireworks. And that guy's literally mouth, resting bitch, I'm going to call him resting bitch Mitch face, has not, like, literally moved. Can you imagine him getting a blowjob? And that's what his face would look like.
To the FBI's commitment to transparency is one of the documents that's being utilized. And in general terms, speaking for burn bags,
You wouldn't even know if you're doing a good
burn bag is
job.
what you use to put classified documents into generally, because that is literally how you destroy them.
So it appears that efforts were made by the Clinton campaign to reach out to the FBI agents or the Clinton sympathizers in the intelligence community in order to lead more credibility to the Clinton campaign plan. Do you think that's an accurate characterization?
Again, I'm not going to characterize that material because it's part of an ongoing investigation.
Thanks for being here today. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Gentleman from California is recognized.
Thank you, Director Patel, for being here today. The FBI searched Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan residence, correct?
Oh, great. Here
I
we go.
believe that happened in 2018. I think there was 2 locations, sir.
2019, and in that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I don't have the catalog of evidence in front of me.
In that residence, the FBI found a safe, correct?
I'll accept your representation.
And in that safe, the FBI found topless and lewd photographs of girls, correct?
Again, sir, I'll accept your representation. I don't know.
Thank you. It was all over the media at the time. There's a New York Times article that says Jeffrey Epstein is indicted on sex charges as discovery of nude photos is disclosed, dated July 8th, 2019. And the Times reports a trove of lewd photographs of girls was discovered in a safe inside financier Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion. Author Michael Wolff has conducted numerous interviews of Jeffrey Epstein. I'm going to play for you a video clip of what Michael Wolff said Epstein told him was in the safe and what he showed the author was in this safe. So let's please play that clip now.
Elected. And I was sitting talking to Epstein and he said, wait a minute, I got to show you something. And then he went into his safe and he came out with photographs. They were Polaroids, I think. And he spread them out like playing cards. And it was Trump. I mean, I think there were a dozen of them. And it was Trump with girls of an uncertain age at Epstein's Palm Beach house, where all of the things that he would ultimately be accused of took place. And I remember very vividly 3 of them. There are 2 in which Trump is, the girls, topless girls are sitting on Trump's lap. And then a 3rd in which he has a stain on the front of his pants. And the girls are kind of pointing at it, sort of bent over, laughing.
So Director Patel, I'm going to ask you a very broad and general question. As you know, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were friends. There are, of course, photos showing Donald Trump together with Epstein, correct?
I don't have the entirety of the photographs, but I think they've been photographed in public together.
All right. Are there any photos showing Donald Trump with girls of an uncertain age?
No.
How do you know that?
Because that information would have been brought to light by multiple administrations and FBI investigators over the course of the last 20 years.
Well, you know what? That's just not true, because no one knew about the creepy birthday message that Donald Trump wrote to Jeffrey Epstein until the Wall Street Journal disclosed it. And then all of a sudden, the Epstein estate provides it to Congress.
Well,
so certainly, you weren't there at the search. You don't know what Epstein may or may not have done with those photographs even prior to the search. Maybe someone has it. Maybe the Epstein estate has it.
You raise a great point.
So I'm going to ask you, have you asked to talk to Michael Wolff?
You raise a great point. I haven't personally asked to talk to
Has
Michael
the
Wolff.
FBI asked?
But
you
the
to Michael Wolff?
FBI, I'll get back to you if the FBI specifically
So Michael Wolff
asked
has
ever.
about 100 hours of testimony of Jeffrey Epstein. Wouldn't it be good for the FBI to interview Michael Wolff?
I'm not saying they haven't. I just don't know.
What?
Does FBI subpoena the tapes that Michael Wolff has conducted of Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know.
All right. So if you could provide us an answer, that would be terrific. Well, let me ask you this question then. Have you looked at all the photos in Epstein files?
I have looked at all the information that the investigators who investigated this case have provided to run out credible leads.
And in the Epstein file, was there that creepy birthday message that Donald Trump had written to Epstein?
But that's what I was trying to tell you. You raise a great point. The estate of Jeffrey Epstein has a voluminous amount of information that they have not released before.
Okay, so that's great. So
Why can't we go in there and get it?
FBI subpoena the estate of Jeffrey Epstein?
Thank
for all that
you.
information?
The estate is under no obligation to provide that material, even pursuant to a subpoena. That's a great point.
Yeah, that's just false.
Okay.
That's just
What?
false. You're the frickin' FBI. You can subpoena the information from the estate, and you better do that.
That's
to move
literally
on.
not how it works.
I'm going to move on now and talk about Epstein's client list.
Wait a second.
Frickin' FBI.
That's a great point.
Yeah, that's just false.
Okay.
That's just false. You're the frickin' FBI. You can subpoena the information from the
You're the frickin' FBI. You can subpoena just like Steve Gonsalves told us. The FBI said, "We're the friggin' FBI." You think that we're gonna let Brian Colbert get off on a technicality? Get that shit. When she be talking that shit mess to me,
estate, and you better do that.
you better do that. Look at the guy in front of him laughing. Look at the guy in front of him laughing with the mustache.
Frickin' FBI. You can subpoena the information from the estate, and you better do that.
That's literally not how it works.
I'm going to move on now and talk about Epstein's client list.
You guys,
Not
it
frickin'
doesn't even make bitchy Mitchy. Look at his face. Oh, look, that's a great pause, Lana. Look at that. Someone give him that tissue. Go give it over to Patel.
FBI, you can subpoena information from this state, and you better do that.
That's literally not how it works.
I'm going to move on now. And
Look at that
talk
guy.
about-
Nothing phases him. Throw some titties and some laps around him. It ain't gonna phase him. Mitch the bitch resting face is not going to change his face. That is just wow to me. Like if that doesn't make you chuckle, I don't know what would, right? But as you can see, he's what? Secret Service. He's there on, God, what a gem.
Epstein's client list. You confirmed that exists. Attorney General Pam Bondi confirmed earlier this year that it exists. So I just want to ask you a simple question. Is Prince Andrew on Epstein's client list?
The material related to Prince Andrew has been made public.
Is Prince Andrew on the client list?
We have released the index of names
All right,
that were in Jeffrey Epstein's.
Is Donald Trump on Epstein's client list?
The index has been released, and the index will speak for
So I'm
itself.
just going to say, America is a huge red flag. The FBI director could not answer whether Donald Trump was on Epstein's
Gentleman's time
client
has
list.
expired.
I
You're
yield
now
back.
recognized as the gentleman from Virginia.
Thank you, Mr.
Wait,
Chairman.
he didn't even talk that long.
For his work over the last several months, removing the taint of partisanship that has infected the intelligence community over the past several years under the last administration, under the last several directors, standing up for law enforcement, standing up for the brave men and women who work in your agency.
That was a quick 5 minutes.
But to set the record straight, we have to correct the record. And the record, early days of the first Trump administration saw a dramatic spike in news stories that contained sensitive and sometimes classified details about the FBI's bogus Russia probe, about a leak a day. It's unacceptable that senior FBI officials coordinated to leak classified information to try and harm President Trump. Documents produced to the committee in August of this year revealed that the FBI interviewed a former intelligence committee staffer who gave details on a systematic process through which leaks of classified information were affected by then Chairman, now Senator Adam Schiff. Were these findings escalated within the Bureau's chain of command, and if so, to what level?
Sorry, were the findings escalated?
Were these findings that were given to us escalated within the Bureau's chain of command, and if so, what level? Did you receive this information?
That entire matter is currently under investigation by the people at the FBI that handle leaks of classified information.
God, there's such
It's good to
leaking
know that there is
bastards.
an ongoing investigation. Can you tell me whether
Who
these
investigates the
leaks,
FBI?
to the media compromised any ongoing FBI
The people
investigations
need it.
during the Trump-Russia probe?
I can tell you, generally speaking, the leaks of classified information are detrimental to any work the FBI is doing.
Now, former Director James Comey testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee that he had never been an anonymous source, nor authorized anyone to be an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation. Was Comey's testimony true?
In reference to Director Comey, I'm very limited in what I can say because of what the current status of those matters are with the FBI and the Department of Justice. When I am able to make those public, I will.
Can you tell me if there's an ongoing investigation there?
Again, without identifying any individuals related to the information you're generally speaking about,
Oh,
there is
thank
an
you,
ongoing
Christina.
matter that has been under review by the Department and the FBI for
You're
some
almost halfway to a baby.
Because we know that the documents that we received last month revealed that former Director Comey used Columbia University law professor as a conduit to leak stories to the media that contained classified information. Let me move on to the way that the FISA process was weaponized by past directors. Prior to your confirmation, you raised concerns about government misuse of FISA, including Section 702, stating that FISA was in need of major reform. Specifically, you highlighted that the Fisk report that the FBI had conducted 278,000 improper searches of the FISA database. Do you remain concerned about governmental abuse of FISA in Section 702?
I'm always concerned, but what we've done since I became FBI director is implement new audit systems. We are nearing 100% review of the 702 query system that you are specifically referring to. And we've also eliminated anyone that has ever touched that database that has in any way made a mistake, whether intentional or not. And we have also identified a system in which those going forward who misuse the 702
It's okay, we
system,
still love you.
they don't get 2 strikes. They get 1 and you're done.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned you're continuing to audit.
Exactly,
because,
they on this
as
train.
you know, in May, the New York Times reported you closed the FBI's Office of Internal Auditing.
Can you explain why you decided to close this office?
Yeah, because under the new restructuring of the FBI, to save resources, there were two different places doing the exact same thing. We have a specific division dedicated to audits. I didn't need another audit system doing the audits again.
The text messages are not real. And it's about time. It's about time people start talking about that. Speaking of, Lana is always right. You know, if I'm going to talk about something, yeah, that's right. Nobody wants to get on panel like a fucking idiot. You know, I think it, though, we were talking about it this morning. Myself and Bella were talking about it. And it reminds me of the Charlie Adelson bump. And that's not some gangster talking to you. Okay. Do the right thing. And so the text messages, we believe, are 100% words that people in law enforcement would use. I mean, especially not no 22-year-old. 22.
So we folded some of those folks with their expertise into our specific division and then took the rest of those folks and are moving them out across the country.
Under previous FBI leadership, FBI agents were found to have lied to the FISC. There have been hundreds of thousands of violations of the querying standards. In light of past violations, what action is the FBI taking to ensure that similar abuses do not occur in the future?
Exactly what I've outlined. You cannot have access to the 702 query system if you improperly query that system at all at any time in your career.
Okay. At a Senate hearing 2 years ago, your predecessor, Director Wray, testified FBI had previously purchased U.S. phone geolocation data for a specific national security pilot project, and further stated that the project had not been active for some time and that the FBI relies on court-authorized process to obtain location data from companies.
Okay.
Does the FBI purchase location data or any other data of Americans from data brokers?
I don't believe so, but I'll get back to you.
Thank you. That'd be important.
Ooh, Israel, I thought owns Celebrate.
From Washington's recognized.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman.
Wait.
Mr. Patel, before you join the
Hang
FBI.
a second right there. Celebrate is owned by Israel. Like, go fact check that shit. So he's full of shit.
Had very strong opinions about what the FBI was hiding regarding Jeffrey Epstein. In a September 2023 interview with Glenn Beck, you said the Black Book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI. In December 2023, you said, let us know who the pedophiles are. Even for a short time after becoming FBI director, in February of 2025, you tweeted, quote, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned. In June, you told Joe Rogan, quote, we've reviewed all the information. We're going to give you every single thing we have and can. But then suddenly in July, everything changed. You and Attorney General Pam Bondi released one video and said that there was nothing more to see. Your July memo says you uncovered more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence, but that you had decided no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is a quote. I think what happened, Mr. Patel, is that suddenly you discovered that Donald Trump's name was all over these files, and you started a giant cover-up. So you are under oath, Mr. Patel. You just testified to Mr. Swalwell that you did not speak to the president about the Epstein files. To your knowledge, did Attorney General Pam Bondi speak to the president about what was in the Epstein files?
I can't speak for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
So to your knowledge, you don't have any information. The question was, do you have any knowledge? Do you have any knowledge?
Yeah.
I can't speak.
You are refusing to answer the question. So let
Personal
me tell
knowledge.
you that the Wall Street Journal reported that in May, Bondi told Trump that he was in the Epstein files, and at the same meeting said that the DOJ did not plan to release the files. Yesterday, you testified to Senator Kennedy that there was, quote, no credible information that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone else, and that you have, quote, continuously and publicly asked the public to come forward with more information, and we'll look into it. Today, in response to Mr. Massey's question, you appear to say that the survivors were not credible. These are survivors.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you this in a second, but let me tell you about
then
the
don't lie about
survivors,
me.
and let's bring them up here into the room. These are women who came to the Hill and testified that they were groomed and raped at the age of 14 and 16 years old, and they called to meet with the president and to meet with the FBI and to have people investigate their claims. Some of them have never testified before. If you are so interested in getting the public to submit any information, why have you not met with them? You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to
Is
invite
the
all
answer yes or
investigative
no
leads.
to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any
What
people
is
on
the
your
an-
side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers, just look at the
Mr.
stats.
Patel,
And you talk
Mr.
about
Chairman,
cover-ups, man.
Mr. Chairman,
You
this
talk
is
about
my time,
cover-ups.
and I will take
Why-
as much time as I
Where were
want.
you during the
Instruct the
Obama and
witness,
Biden
Mr.
administrations
Chairman.
when these so-called
Instruct the
cover-ups were
witness.
going on?
Mr.
Why didn't
Chairman.
anyone in those administrations talk to any of these
Mr.
purported
Chairman.
witnesses?
Let's
I
get
have
some regular
welcomed
order, Mr.
every
Chairman.
single person to provide credible information.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Washington.
And I'm gonna
When you-
take
when
another
you
couple
accuse
of
the
minutes.
witness of something, he's allowed to respond. That's how it works. You say
Listen, he
something,
didn't even,
say
excuse me,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Chairman, you have
point
always
of
been
order.
fair, but
I'm-
this is
and I'm
not
being
fair.
and you will get
No,
your-
this
you will
is
get your
my time, and he
You will give the
said
gentlelady
that the
a few
witnesses
additional
were not credible.
seconds of time.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
get
he
an
said the witnesses
additional
were not
minute of
credible.
time, because
No,
that's
you'll
how
get
much
what,
time
you
he
won't get a
took.
minute, you'll get some seconds. What we think is under 5 minutes. You don't get to demand how
Mr.
much time you
Patel.
get. That's not how it works.
Oh,
Mr. Patel.
he is being
are
demeaning
the
to women.
victims of the Jeffrey Epstein horrific trafficking ring, are they credible?
Yeah.
Any person with information about ongoing
I
sexual
didn't,
trafficking.
I'm asking you if they're credible.
Ma'am,
Are
I'm
they
commenting on the
credible?
evidence we have.
But
And
I'm-
we have routinely asked for people to come forward with more evidence and we will look at
Mr.
it. And the evidence that we have was the same evidence that the
Mr.
Biden and
Patel,
Obama Justice Departments
Mr.
had.
Patel,
And they
this is
determined, not
new.
me, they determined that that
Chairman,
information was not
Mr.
credible.
Chairman, he's not letting me even ask my questions.
You
Yeah.
ask the questions, he gives an answer. You may not like what he says,
No,
but that
I'm
doesn't mean you get to
asking for-
interrupt.
No, he's not
Answer my
answering the question that's
Mr.
being
Chairman, can we
given.
restore the gentlelady 45 seconds so she
We
can
will give
complete
her
her question?
additional 30 seconds, which is what I said
I'm going
earlier.
to keep taking my time
No,
because
you'll
here's
take the time
thing.
that you get.
You
get
are
30
not
seconds.
answering the question. The question is,
I have, you just don't like the answer.
Are these women credible? It's a yes or no
Yeah.
answer.
I have answered the question. and
Well,
I
what is
keep
the
telling
answer?
you, I'm the only FBI director that has welcomed new information in this case. This
You're not-
administration is the only one that has welcomed any new information in this
Is there
case.
a yes or no to
Present
whether the
new credible
victims are credible?
information. Present new
Are
information.
the victims credible
The victims-
or not?
I'll tell you what happened in the last Trump
Are they
administration.
credible or not? You can't even
Victims
say.
credibly came forward, and you know what happened? President Trump authorized the indictments of
President
Jeffrey
Trump
Epstein,
called
not
them a
Biden,
hoax.
not Obama.
President
No
Trump
one
called
else.
the entire thing a Democratic hoax. So I would like to ask
The
you
gentlelady's
if
time has
you
expired.
will
I gave her
meet-
the additional
if
45
you-
seconds
if
she
you will
requested. The
meet-
gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from
Mr.
New
Chairman,
Jersey is
I would like
recognized
to
for his
ask if
5
you would
minutes.
meet with the women who were sexually
Time does not belong.
abused and raped and groomed
Time does
at
not
the
belong
ages
to the
of
gentlelady from
14
Washington.
and
The time now
16
belongs-
years old. Are you
Time-
going to cover up?
No, I'm
Are
not
you
gonna-
going to
I'm
continue
gonna
to
recognize
cover
the
up
gentleman
for
from
the
New
rich
Jersey for
and
his 5 minutes.
powerful men, including those that might be on this committee?
I can yell
Or
too,
are
Mr.
you
Chairman,
going
but I don't want to
to
yell
allow
above
them
this.
to
The time belongs
testify?
to the gentleman from New Jersey. I
Are you
appreciate
going
the
to allow
gentlelady
them to
yielding back.
testify, Mr. Patel?
Go ahead.
Will you allow them to testify to you, Mr. Patel?
Mr. Patel, thank you for being here. I know it's been an interesting and difficult 2 days. And I wasn't going to talk about the Epstein thing because there's a lot of other issues that affect the FBI, but I have to say a few words. I've sat here, I've listened to this, I've watched it, and my Democratic colleagues are so concerned now, Mr. Patel, all of a sudden. Where were they last year? Where were they the year before? Where were they the year before that? Where was the last president in any of this? All I know, the only thing I see is a single letter from the ranking member that was sent in 2019 that he didn't like the plea deal, and some people signed on to that. Most of the truth, the real truth, let's be honest, let's be intellectually honest. The real truth is we didn't hear from them at all, anybody of them. Hardly any of them ever mentioned it. Some of them didn't mention it at all until the beginning of this year. Earlier in the year it started. Not one Democrat asked Director Wray. We all remember Director Wray was here. Not once, not twice, multiple times. Nobody asked Director Wray about Epstein before this committee. Nobody was that concerned. Where was the concern for the victims then? Where was the moral righteousness then? Where was the outrage then? Where was the sense of duty then? Where was the desire for accountability then? Where was the urgency for
Because it's all about
justice
politics.
then? Most of all, where the hell was the integrity then?
Huh.
You know what the truth is. Let's just say it, man. Tell the truth time. The truth is, it's politically useful for them to try to do this now, even though they didn't give a damn about it in the past. And you know what? That's an insult to the victims, and that's an insult to America. Continue to do the work you're doing. Continue to uncover what needs to be uncovered. One real quick thing before I say anything to 9/11. We know that was mishandled by the past.
They're going about this the wrong way. Stop asking about Donald Trump and ask about the people that are on that list that aren't from the United States of America. That's what you need to ask. Fucking dumb fucks.
And by the past FBIs, there are family members here. There are family members who are concerned. God Almighty, we want to get to the truth of that. I ask you, please, to meet with them, to talk to them, and to investigate this with truth. You know, in the Biden administration, we went through a very dark and difficult period of time. The FBI trust was broken with the people. Catholics were, this is the stuff we've been talking about, were labeled radical threats for praying in their churches with their rosaries. Parents at school boards were called terrorists for standing up for their children. Hindu holy men in New Jersey. We have the largest Hindu temple in the world. They were attacked. They were put up against the wall with guns to their heads. So it isn't just a Catholic or Christian thing. American Jews were targeted in colleges and universities, and a lot of folks in the FBI, in the past FBI, not this one, didn't give a damn. We can't go back to targeting religion. We can't go back to silencing free speech. The Biden administration did that. So I got questions for you. Hopefully thoughtful questions that you can answer for us in a thoughtful way. How is this FBI now, under your leadership, how are we restoring trust for Catholics, for Hindus, for Jews, for parents, for all the other, for just American people that were targeted by FISA because they had a different viewpoint? How are we restoring that trust in the FBI?
Multiple ways, sir. One, and maybe most importantly, is through transparency and providing the American public with the material so they can see, read it themselves as to what the abuses were in the past, whether it relates to the Catholic memo or the Hindu.
Okay, great. I would love the Idaho 4 transparency, Idaho 4 FBI file immediately. Case closed, right? Brian Colbert pled guilty. Give me my motherfucking file, bitch.
Incident you talked about at the largest temple in North America. Any institution of faith and any member of faith will not be investigated by this FBI because they are men and women of faith ever, period.
And nor should they. Nor should they. I don't mean to interrupt you, but my God, of all the amendments to the freedom of speech, freedom to believe in what you want to believe in. I know you're standing up for that. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Sorry.
Okay. The Richmond memo was driven by a reliance on sources. The Southern Poverty Law Center, you know, the words sound nice, but the organization's not so nice. And we've seen the Anti-Defamation League distort data that counts as 12 as violence. Have you been able to identify and eliminate these kinds of partisan sources? We welcome all sources, but we want objectivity and neutrality and decency in the way we report all this. Have you been able to uncover any information there? How do we make sure our sources are good in the future?
We have reviewed the source processes that infiltrate any institutions of faith, and they will no longer be going into institutions of faith.
Anybody that watches this and doesn't see that this is just political and this is two sides attacking each other versus asking questions that, you know, for non-political purposes is, I'm sorry, but like, it's just right there. It's like watching Jerry Springer, and you know that the people there are whew. All right, let's take a look right here. Really quick. I want to show a new little clip. Okay, so News Nation did a clip on Brian Colbert's latest solitary confinement victim family statements, new evidence back scroll. And I have no idea why, but they just took all of their clips and put them all together. Next. This is how
almost all of it provided by Tyler Robinson himself, much of it in the form of detailed text messages to his roommate, who's also his romantic partner. And I'm going to start reading now. And if you are scrolling on your phone right now, or you're busy making dinner or doing anything else, I'm going to say you might want to stop and read along with me, because if prosecutors are right, it is rare that we have a first-person narrative from someone who has just allegedly played assassin.
Yeah, it's rare, right? It's like, wow. And so look at what they do. They create the bubbles. we can't get the real bubbles, but lo and behold, we're going to get that shit from Ashley. Come on, Banfield.
To the roommate. I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a while.
But no, it says, but am stuck in Orem. No, there's no I, but am stuck in Orem.
Little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you.
Look at this. No capital there. You weren't the only one who did it. You weren't the one who did it. Like,
you weren't the one who did it, right? Says the roommate. Robinson says, I am. I'm sorry. Roommate says, I thought they caught the person. Robinson says, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude and then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down.
Nobody.
It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering.
Right.
Roommate asks one question. Why? Tyler says, why did I do it? Roommate says, yeah. Robinson says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate goes back to the important question here, which is, how long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week. I believe I can get close to it, but there's a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to.
How long have you been planning this and sleeping in the same bed with me? And I don't even know about this? Come on. This kid, according to this text change, he can't keep a secret for like to save his life, okay? So he's just planning and looking into something for a week. But his family, Tyler Robinson's family, said that Tyler mentioned, that Kirk was speaking in Utah in a couple weeks or whatever. I'm going to say the words, and there's two of them, or maybe it's like, but I'm going to talk about it. I want to talk about MK Ultra.
A chance it. Robinson goes on to say, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. He says IDEK, which is I don't even know. I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? The only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see, quote, notices bulge, UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a $2,000 scope. And then Robinson says, delete this exchange. Robinson goes on to say, my dad wants photos of the rifle.
Wait, delete this exchange and then continues. Come on, man.
He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it's very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Robinson carries on. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Robinson again. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Robinson, you're all I worry about, love. Now the roommate answers for the first time in a while. And says, I'm much more worried about you.
First time in a while. Yeah. Just
Robinson
blowing
says,
him up.
don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. That last little bit's important because that's going to end up, as you'll see, as a charge.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your...
Way to just blow our eardrums right there. That's all she has to say. That's it. Wow. Way to go, Ash. You know, Candace be pumping out nothing but the narrative. Wait, hold on though. Let me hit my little link here. I have to make sure I'm... Oh, there you go. Found it. Don't want to put sassy up there again. Okay, there's it. If you want to hit that. Let me see. So Megyn Kelly took Candace Owens' back. Today she put out something, which I thought was interesting. In a good way. You know, those women just sticking together. They need to. It's a dog-eat-dog world, man. Let's see. Shoo. Cardi B announced that she is pregnant with Stefan Diggs' baby in an interview on CBS on Wednesday. You go, girl. You get that D, baby. Cardi B getting the D. And other news. God, where was it? George Webb did a little quick blurb.
At the Charlie Kirk murder scene, you see I'm about halfway to where Charlie Kirk was murdered, under the American flag, about where that yellow pillar or that yellow marking is on that pillar with that drainage. So you can see the distance here. But this is only half the distance. This is like just half the distance of the shot. The shot actually comes off this corner, the low C center here, right there. You see that convenient ladder right there, right? So you see that perch up there, potentially the perch up there, but I think it's this perch right here. And as we line up on this right here, and they've conveniently parked this thing in between, there is a strip of concrete that kind of leads directly to that. So it's almost like a shot.
Okay, so I'm going to put it on like this so you guys can see it. Okay. I guess you can see. There you go.
Here at the shooting site, I'm from not this perch, not that perch, but this perch right here. So people asked me last night, go to the possible different sniper perches. So that's what I'm doing. But I think the why in this may be getting a little bit lost. But anyway, it's the Ukraine war, and Charlie he's making a turning point on this tour, talking about the Ukraine war and cutting funding for the Ukraine war. But I want to make sure I get the perches. You can see the low-C center. Again, a long shot. And then I'll go down here a little bit. You can see these stairways and so forth. So, and then there's these crevices and so forth in here. But the big idea that I was trying to make when I was talking to all these organizations that purport to be trans, they're not. And this is people, armed queers in Salt Lake City, threatened to murder me. So I did a little bit of research, and it's not. It's transitioning gamers to mercenaries. It's transitioning gamers to mercenaries. And I'll keep walking to give people a different perspective on all the different angles. But it really is about transitioning.
Look at how cool this place was. Like, it's actually really, really sweet. Look at you have the mountains back there. I mean, this is beautiful. But do you guys remember I was telling you guys it's like you're sitting down like this bowl, and I just can't believe that there was no security. Like, if it's what they say it is, how this person was just able to, I just planned it, this past week and just decided to get in the car and drive 4 hours. And if I got there at 8:38 in the morning, I'd have to leave at 4:38 in the morning. It's a 4-hour drive. And then I just was hanging out, changed my clothes, and just walked up onto a rooftop.
People off Steam, these Halo players, we know who we want to target for recruiting for Ukraine. They're the mercenaries. They're the people in ROTC, but we can't overtly, through an overt program, recruit them. So they use this trans to transition. They use this trans cover to transition those people for the Ukraine mercenary program. You saw the messages between Crook supposedly and his quote unquote lover. That's actually a recruiting point in St. George. That's a recruiting sort of, like Mary Kay meeting, where they have people from all different states. It's a recruiting meeting. And you're talked into doing these overseas foreign missions if you're Mormon, and you go to Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago, and so forth, or Brazil. It looks like Tyler Robinson might have done the Brazil route, not the Trinidad route. But then from there, you go on and do your real mission as a Ukraine mercenary. Now, I'm going to get to the other things, but I just think this is really important. The head of all queers is Hezbollah. She's Hezbollah. The head of all queers, the other second in command, is Mujahideen. That looks much more like a Ukraine mercenary recruiting organization or somebody recruiting for Syria than it does somebody who's looking for love in all the right places or wrong places. I don't know how to say it. But the messages that you saw yesterday, the Harlequin romance messages going back and forth, my love, my love, my love, and here's all the confession. Remember that his phone, Tyler's phone, was in the possession of Mike Taylor, Mike Robinson, no relation, Mike Robinson of Washington County. And there's a period they put no timestamps on those Harlequin romance messages. And my point is that if I'm running the program, if I'm Mike Robinson, deputy sheriff down in Washington County, and I'm running the program to recruit all these kids out of the ROTC and transition them like crooks, transition them like Ruth was doing over to being snipers or demolition, also demolition people in Ukraine, I want to do it through a third party, and I want to do it through a Discord service. The whole introduction of the rifle, you're going to find that it doesn't match the bullet, and they won't find the bullet, they won't find the autopsy, right? These are key things. The reason is the rifle is introduced later. Grandpa's rifle is introduced later. I'm not saying Mike Robinson did it. I'm not saying he went because he knew the Robinsons and he went and got Grandpa's rifle, but you'll find that
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, fuck, hold on. Whoa. Whoa. I wanted to see. Oh my God.
this fence here.
Wait,
If you just walk up this pathway.
Listen to the beginning.
Okay, George Webb again, and you see the grassy knoll there, the John Wilkes Booth 82nd Airborne Roll location is just on the other side, and then now you see this fence here. If you just walk up this pathway, this is the bush. the burning bush here. It's going to be pretty famous pretty soon. I think this is the burning bush where the rifle goes.
There we go. What would ever make them start looking in this area in the book, in the bush? What would ever make you start looking in this area if you're like, why wouldn't you think the gun would be with the person? Where does this take you to? The street where TMZ got there. I mean, what's right there? Nice little area. Okay, right there. Do you see that's like the construction down there? No, that's the street. Let me see the other.
M20 is your marker. Okay, George Webb here on the UVU campus, and you see M20 is your marker. M20 is your marker. And this northeast corner here of this building is where you see that John Wilkes Booth 82nd Airborne jump by Tyler Robinson. So the 82nd Airborne jumps right over there. The shooting spot is just beyond those cameras there. Got a whole bunch of cameras there now, not before the shooting, but after. Make sure that citizen journalists can't be here. But anyway, you go forward from those cameras and you see him running behind that building. Again, one mall cop, one grandmother.
I thought he would go around and like show where like these cameras were located. You know what I mean? If you're going to be on the campus, why aren't you showing what they have there?
Into this area right over here and stashes the gun, supposedly. I think he picks up the gun there, and that's the part that they're not telling you. His Discord group is the one who organized the gun drop for him, his ROTC group. Remember, he's...
No, sorry. We went to the Discord group, but I want to show you.
And stashes the gun, supposedly. I think he picks up the gun there, and that's the part that they're not telling you. His Discord group is the one who organized the gun drop for him, his ROTC group. Remember, he's been coming.
He picks up the gun from there. I just want to see the area.
Since 2019 in high school as an ROTC student. So he knows this campus. He's been here many high school drop for him there, and that's the part that they're not telling you. His Discord group is the one who organized the gun drop.
He has no evidence of this because we have the Discord group messages. None of that's in there.
And his ROTC group. Remember, he's been coming here since 2019 in high school as an ROTC student. So he knows this campus. He's been here many times. He's got many friends here. Even though he doesn't go here, he's got a lot of folks that he's done training with. But I'll show you the John Wilkes Booth 82nd Airborne drop here. The grassy knoll, every time you get in one of these stories, there's always a grassy knoll, right? You just can't avoid it.
Okay, be looking for where's the cameras?
But
find the cameras.
You see this. drop
Look at
here.
look at how easy that drop is, right there.
And I'm 6'8".
6'8".
I'm 6'8". I'll just give you an idea how big of a drop that is. We don't know if that's the John Wilkes Booth footprint or not, but there's a depression here, believe it or not.
Wait, what is all this shit? Remember they had to bring all that shit over there? Like they had the fire truck and shit?
And they've put up some, but if you look here, look at the distance up.
It's not that high.
My reach is 8'6". I'd still there's another 6-7 feet to go here. That's like going to a basketball gym, putting a 4-foot platform on top of a basketball rim and then jumping.
It's nothing.
He fell at least 10 feet. He fell at least 10 feet like a cat. He bounced like a cat. So he had been taught that roll to land on the weight of the ball, balls your feet, and then give to your shoulder, that 82nd airborne roll. He learned it somewhere. He learned it somewhere, but that's how he got out. Now, how he got in, probably through this parking garage here. Again, hard to say, but we'll have more for you in a little bit.
You're going to be there, man. Get the good stuff. Look at his combat roll escape, the long
Guide, if you will. We'll move up the hill a little bit and show you just potential way of getting out. You see all these access ladders. So again, we're not getting that into video that shows how he got to that position. Why wouldn't you show how if we have all the surveillance video of him running from the position, why wouldn't we have
know where the cameras are around the fucking college?
The video of him going to it. Again,
dude, if this happened on Ohio State's campus, I'd be down there and I'd be showing you guys where all the shit was, like the cameras.
The text messages with the Harlequin back and forth, my love this, my love that. Here's a complete
and I definitely wouldn't be showing myself on the camera because I'd be showing all the area. You guys know how I do. I'm just like, you're there, man. Get
stairway. Again, why not publish the video of how he got where he got rather than
you're there. Go get
just show the video of him escaping.
Just show the camera. Show where the cameras are even available.
Right. What would full transparency look like? Thanks, guys. What would full transparency look like? So you can see I have access to the roof.
What?
All right, a lot of cameras there.
Look at
those may have come in after the shooting.
You don't think he goes through all the time though? You don't think he knows that?
Again, usual access. I have access to the roof. All right, a lot of cameras there. Those may have come in after the shooting.
That's all that matters right there.
Blocked off. But again, wouldn't I have cameras of how he got to the shooting position?
Why don't you go up there?
Lots and lots of stairways, easy access. I was surprised by that. I thought this was going to be like a difficult climb or something. It wasn't. We'll get you more here in a minute.
Okay. Anyways. Bro, the perfect setup. It's crazy. George is a truth seeker. Well, he needs to turn that camera around. You need to turn that camera around. Let's see. There was another one. You do any more? Okay. I think he did. Does he move on this one? Well, I that's so sad for that university, all the kids, and just to be there. And let's see.
Here at Losey Center, there at the Student Union, kind of coming from this way, shooting downward angle. I just talked to these gentlemen who were here at that time. They said really hard to place the shot. It was banging around. But you can see here that there is some approaches up there. There was a video out there that showed a flash. So we don't have all that data. But interesting how it's been sort of concreted over. And, you know, we're having a lot of improvements. It kind of reminds me of the Canfield 4 in a way. But walking back this way, it just seems a lot farther than on television. On TV, that's a real close shot where that first guy is on that first stair. It's a real close shot.
It was really bad.
And Charlie going from the left to the right would also go along with that. If you go up here to the Losey Center, it's all the way over there. I mean, that's a much longer shot than I guess a much longer shot than I thought of when I saw it on television. So that's the report here from UVU. The other thing that everyone's ignoring is, how did he get the gun? If there was people who were on the Discord with him trying to get him the gun, to pick up the gun, that's called a gun drop. That's really super critical information. They left that totally out of today's, left that totally out. Plus, if there's a spent chamber, if there's a spent bullet in the chamber, how did it get back in the magazine? How did he disassemble the gun without a screwdriver? All these questions. So we got a lot of questions to answer yet as we roll forward here.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Hopefully we have somebody that's gonna go down and do some videoing. We've had some offers, and I think I'm gonna take them up on it. And it's, you know, we don't need to see me, or we need to see the area. So flip that camera the other way and let's walk it like, you know, if we would have won. But just wow, just a lot. Woo. Okay. So I got some breaking news coming out in the Shanna Gardner case. That's going to be tonight. You guys need to tune in for this. Shanna Gardner has retained one of the best Ohio criminal defense attorneys. She's worked with Jose Baez before. So Shanna Gardner adds a legit powerhouse. I'm going to talk about that tonight. Also, I got the new documents. Jose Baez called it, and they said that Shanna Gardner was going to, that the state was going to find somebody or multiple people to become jailhouse informants. Okay. And sure as shit, there's a filing, and it's unbelievable. It's literally unbelievable. So I'm going to go over a lot of stuff with the Shanna Gardner case tonight, because I'm going to compare the Idaho 4 reports and the canvassing that they did in the Idaho 4 case. I'm going to show those reports because I have the police reports of Shanna Gardner's case with the murder for hire. And I want you guys to see the difference of how you do a neighborhood canvass and the type of information that should be available in a report. And you guys are literally going to fall over. If you've been following the Idaho 4 case, you definitely want to tune in, because I'm going to show the side-by-side police reports of neighborhood canvassing. It's crazy. It's crazy. But much love to you guys. Thank you, moderators, subscribers, members, lurkers. You guys all rock. Christina, again, we are almost halfway to a YouTube baby. Yuri's Math, 5 memberships. He turned 5. You guys green. Biz for Bicca, thank you for the super sticker. Join me tonight. Much love. What a day hanging out with the FBI and the Senate. Shoot me. No thanks. Oh, redacted doing redacted. Blankety blank blank. Much love. Peace out, Girl Scouts.